right, we're glad to have you back. Now we'll be moving to health issues, cholera outbreak. I think cholera is no news in Nigeria. We've had it over time, but I think this particular time came with a bit more severity, if I'll put it that way, yes. And as of today, the death toll from the outbreak has hit 40. We've had 40 people lose their lives at the course of the outbreak, and as we all know, this cholera outbreak is waterborne disease. But now the question everyone is asking, I mean, cholera has been in Nigeria long before now. What has the federal government done so far? You know, and especially looking at the fact that this has to do with water, and this has to do with sanitation, because if you look at it, the hygiene, you know, yes, and from health experts, we've heard that most of these cases have been traced back to some of the street foods that have been consumed, you know, some of the bad water and all. But let me have your views, gentlemen, on this whole issue. I mean, 40 lives have died so far, yes, and still counting, like you said.
Well, you know that cholera, I remember, is that cholera, that word is as, be hearing it not as,
it's no
I
news.
can't remember how old I was when I started hearing of cholera outbreak and all of that. And we know that it's because of water,
yes,
and sanitation, and waste disposal, or sewage disposal management. And I don't think there has been improvement in those areas. And it's made worse when we have a process where people take to open defecation in the markets. Yeah, and you know that most of our markets is what I witnessed. I remember the time I used to take my wife to, and I would just park, and I would see those women that are selling things in the market. When they want to eat themselves, where they are not, I witnessed it myself. Not one market, not in this Lagos. They will just take something like the paint bucket and go and do what they have to do, cover themselves with cloth. I'm watching from the car park where I parked. It's still happening.
And probably the person is selling something
because when I went to look at it very well, I saw that it's from these food vendors, these markets where we buy vegetables, so sell vegetables, and when they are fresh, and when they want to do what they have to do, and there's no clean, you know, where they can do it. What do they do it? They are human beings. Okay, so, and I don't think there has been improvement in those areas, especially water. What kind of water do we consume? We drink pure water. You don't know the source where those pure water, where they are made, where they are, nobody supervises it. Some of them will just write NAFDAC approval. When you investigate, there's
nothing like that.
There's nothing like that. Nobody really, you know, supervises those, and that's what everybody is doing, and we don't know where they get those source of water from. So, and the other one is open defecation, and government is not doing so much about it, because gone by the time when we're young, you see this sanitation officer going from house to house. They will inspect your water, inspect your sanitary facilities and all of that. We don't have that again. Local sanitary workers, they call them wale wale in Yoruba at that time. They go from one house to the other. They wear white uniform and whatever. They will inspect your water, inspect your drainage system, make sure that everything is clean. And if you don't, they write you notice, can even take you to local, you know, come and answer why is your environment dirty. All those ones, we don't see again.
All right, let's have Mr. Sonny. But before you, I just wanted to also give us a wider view of this. So far, we've had 4,364 people who have died, and then 139,730 people who are infected, and this is from the last 4 years. So you can imagine we have over 4,000 plus people who have lost their lives, and like Mr. Felix said, still counting, because I mean we still have people that are battling with their lives in the hospital. And like he said, sanitation. The sanitation system, I don't know. Just help me out, because I don't know how to put it all together.
You know, the outbreak, cholera is not a frequent sickness like that, like malaria and all that. So it's not something that we experience, you know, quite often. So, but when it comes, it just it comes with a full force. Yeah. So I think the first thing is that it tests our health facilities. You know, it's a test for our health facilities. How equipped are the hospitals? You know, how prepared are the doctors to take on emergency? Then on an issue of environment, you know, let's take Lagos. I think Lagos State has done well on the issue of environment management. Over time, Loma has been very, very effective, especially in the metropole, where you don't have waste lying within your entity for 24 hours. It's those who dwell in the city. But to an extent, because you now have people who also reside in their home that they do not even share space with waste. The moment you finish doing what you are doing, you send it outside, and that is why the bin is by your gate. So it's not right in your compound. So you take it out. And I've also monitored the activities of these trucks. Every morning they come to evacuate these things, especially in the city. But somehow the same may not be said about the urban periphery, the outskirts of the city, where you see people, the low-income earners, where they cannot, for reasons, some live with waste for as much as 1 week, 2 weeks. You will see them having basket by their door side where they have
we have riverine areas.
Yeah, not
like
even river area.
Makoko.
Yeah, Makoko, but not even river area. I'm not talking about urban periphery. You go push outward outside the cage here. These are people living upland. You see them with sacks some in their kitchen, some by their doorstep, especially these crowded environments where they have to keep some 1 week, some 2 weeks before they take outside. All right? So while we are having the macro aspect of environment well managed, the micro aspect is not properly managed in the urban periphery, but it's properly managed in the city. So luckily for us, it's not coming from the urban from the urban center. It's coming from the periphery. The outbreak in Lagos, for instance. All right. So that's one aspect. So how do I enforce it to the individual level, from the community level? It's one thing that they have to, because even the government has even tried. But perhaps the cost also, I think the cost is also another issue. Because those who live, in the urban periphery, some of them can't even afford the cost. Especially the last time the government increased it. They were having problems with the operators, the normal operators. They couldn't really meet up with those costs and all that. So maybe the government has to consider giving them incentives so that those who are also in the urban periphery who are afford the cost, so that they can push these waste outside of their residence, let it be outside. And I'm sure it's going to improve. But on the issue of water, and I think that is where the government has failed, both at the federal and at the state level, they have failed, and people are really exposed to the hazard of this water-borne diseases. Because now individuals, they see boreholes. The boreholes, they pull out this water, the water is processed. Some drink it. Others use it for various other purposes. So the cumulative effect, lives with them for a long time. So when such, when there's such outbreak, I think they are trying controlling it. So it tends to affect, the effect is tends to be very fast, and very drastic. So government has not actually done well in the issue of water. In the past, there was clean water in Lagos where they used tank to distribute in different areas, different parts of the state. Then they deposit inside the tank, people buy from there. For those areas that were not connected by tap, public tap, private tap. In Lagos, in Surulere, for instance, so many houses have tap from public water works. But I don't know if it's still functioning. All right? Now, the last time we tried to do a study on this water issue in Lagos State, you now found that the dam at Iju, which is still functioning, all right? Now, it will not process water. It does not supply water to the host community. They put the water to Lekki, to residents in Lekki.
Wow.
And to Ikoyi and all the other. So you now see where they're now processing water down here at Iju, and the water is being sent to those in the urban center. But that was the tradition led by the colonial masters. Because from the study, we found that they were looking for where they can get clean water. And that was where they got it for the first time. So they now developed it and was providing water for the center. But the state government has not really changed that tradition over time. And beside that, from the record of Lagos State, they have over 10, let me not exaggerate, over 10 micro dams. Over 10 micro dams in the state. Then who are they providing water for? So the government has not really done well about this water, clean water for citizens. At the federal, maybe by the time they service the presidency, service the ministers' quarters, the permanent secretaries, they feel that they've serviced Nigerians. Nigeria is covered. So they are not even thinking outward. They are not thinking, coming up with comprehensive policy on what provision of water for citizens. So I think government has actually failed.
Okay, but also looking at, because I mean, Mr. Felix also said something about sanitation and markets, yes, open defecation, you know, the markets, places and all of that. Do probably the government needs to maybe like create awareness, you know, or something, because most of the, I think most of the health experts have come out to say that most of these cases have been traced back. Some even say that have been traced back to some drinks, some locally made drinks, you know, like Tiger Nuts drinks, you know, and the rest, which were made, yes. So should probably sanitation, you know, he said something, some type of sanitation that was done way back. I don't know if it still exists now, or probably like the governments, state governments, especially Lagos State, because we have the highest cases now. Probably Lagos State need to, you know, do something more when it comes to sanitation. I think they are doing well when it comes to sanitation. I mean, there are days where, you know, they close up their shops and they try to clean up, but obviously it looks like it's not enough.
Definitely, it's not enough. It's
not enough.
And I think the government, because my colleague was trying to, you know, talk about, I don't know, I think providing water. Do not saddle with the federal government with that. I think we should be state government. It should be under the covers of state government, local governments, providing water, because there's a water corporation, you know, at the time in Keja here, there's even public supply of water. I don't think if that is still continuing now, because you have the water works, mini, whatever, in Ikeja here. I think off of Akran there. I visited there several times. I have a family I was managing then. We're having issue with water. They will come, they will not come, they bring this. At times they can give you a bill of about $500,000 naira. And you'll now be wondering, who this water that you didn't bring? So, you know, at the point in time you have to terminate that. Because you will now look at how much do I need to sink a borehole if I have to pay so much for public supply. That is not guaranteed 24/7. So there's a lot of issues around that place. So, and I think the government need to do more, because why we have the highest, even for the cholera now, the number is coming from Lagos, because according to the Lagos State, we have about maybe over 20 million people resident in Lagos. And how many people have you provided water for? And we are not even see as a continual something that we need to continue to do. I don't think government is looking at that direction. I don't think government is saying we are building new dams, we are trying to extend the water supply. I think the focus is on vaccine. I think government, as of today, they said the vaccine got finished. I'm even talking about overtime. I think everybody, you just know that when you want to build a house in Lagos, you must put a borehole there, or you put a well there. I don't think anybody's looking at government water will come in. Nobody, everybody. So, and they even told us that also carry another risk, because every house that it speaks to the underground water supply, there may be a time that there will be, you know, depletion of the underground water, because every house, in some houses where you have different flats, you might even have more than one borehole. Because everybody wants to be in control of their water supply. They don't want to depend on this tenant. And they, you know, I've seen this because I'm a facility manager. It's part of what I do. So you see some houses, some estate, every house will have their own borehole. So if you have an estate of maybe 50 residents, you may expect to see about 50 boreholes within that estate. And I think the former governor, Fashola, was saying that this speaks to even the supply of underground water. Because everybody, it's not meant to be so. It's meant to have the way it's supposed to be in other places, where is that you have a dam, and from that dam or natural whatever or artificial, then you can supply water to everybody. Not that everybody, every house you must have it, you know.
Okay, so as we wrap up, looking at the health aspect of it, because I mean we saw how COVID-19 was so, you know, it started little, and before you know it was a big thing, and we're hoping and we're praying that cholera won't get to that point. But looking at it, looking at the Jackpot syndrome that had hit the health sector for a while now, and it's still hitting the health sector. And I mean, whether we like it or not, this cholera thing it's going faster than we thought. You know, when we heard the first cholera case, we thought it was just one of those. But I mean, look at how fast it's taking lives, you know, and more are still. So looking at the health aspect of it, I mean, do we really think? I don't even know what to ask about this, but I'm sure you get what I'm trying to say. There's a big concern from that aspect.
Yeah. Personally, I think Lagos State has the capacity to contain it.
Okay.
You know, before it causes more further damages, because Lagos was very, very effective when Ebola came. It was daring, and it was contained effectively. When they said coronavirus came, the states functioned and were very successful. It delivered, all right? So I have no fear about this.
What about
but the point is, that is the state problem of other states. But the point is that Lagos also has to look at the post-state, the post-Lagos of cholera. That's after cholera. What next?
What next?
You know, because if you look at the population of destitutes in Lagos is rising every day.
Every day.
And that is why it's going to be difficult for government to control open defecation. You see millions of people, they live under the bridge, they live by the roadside, they don't have a home. You know, and they are in the millions in the state. And you can't control such people. So when you talk of open defecation, you must take care of the population of destitutes in the state. The population is growing every day. And there's urban explosion, you know, in the state. And without corresponding facilities to cater for those new entrants. So I think the state should be looking beyond environment. Because if you ask me, the state is doing very well on environment presently. Okay. More than ever before. You know, because the commissioner, even though they are doing demolition and all that, that's by the side. But what they have, look at the drainage. Before now, they will start clearing the drainage after the rain season. But now you see them clearing it before the rain comes. They are more proactive now. So they are more proactive now. And that is why. Then again, the commissioner should go beyond demolition structures. What framework is he putting in place to evacuate this water after the rain, to make sure they don't stay for long within the human environment? They must have a way of getting it out of human entities to a safe area. The former governor Fashola, he tried to construct mega drain system that could contain as large quantity of water as possible. But somehow the water remains stagnant. So once the drain system is filled up, then the flood comes again. So the rest, they go to the street, and you will see the return of the flood. So they should also look at that master plan. How do we evacuate this water? If you say somebody is building on a drain system, when you have done the demolition, are you not converting that drain system to be functional so that you can now get this evacuated? So I think.
All right, so let's have Mr. Felix last word.
Okay, so just on that note, I would also want to say, okay, I classify this as I was talking that the hard as a part of our environment, the soft part. Soft part is, let's have public toilets, let's have, like he's talking about destitute, and they do open defecation and all of that. Let's have a way, the government policy that can address that, because you can't continue to look at those situations. Okay, when you travel from Lagos to Badega, and it was referenced somewhere, you will see that open defecation is so evident that those are the places, the media between the two driveways. That's where you see people, and you will just see it. You just marvel what's happening, because when people are pressed in the public space, where do they go to answer the call of nature?
All right, thank you
bring
so
vaccine quick or
more vaccine, right?
Yeah,
I think they said they're working on that. So thank you so much, gentlemen, for being in the studio with me today. It was such an interesting discussion to have with you, and thank you so much to all our viewers at home as well that took part in the discussion for today. I'm sure you enjoyed and you had a nice time. My name is Nenwarang Yumazaka. Do keep a date with us, same time, same station here in Galaxy TV for more interesting conversations. As for now, goodbye.